everyone, my name's Christina and I'm a travel specialist for As You Wish Vacations. While I book many vacation destinations, I specialize in the Disney products. This video series focuses on Walt Disney World and specifically the steps to planning a Walt Disney World vacation. We've talked about where you want to stay, what you want to do, where you want to eat. So we talked about how dining reservations at Walt Disney World open 180 days in advance. And for some of the more popular restaurants, you want to make your reservations exactly at that 180-day mark. Well, there's a bunch of other stuff that opens at that 180-day mark as well. I'm going to just go over them quickly. I'll have video series that go a little bit more in depth into each of these items so that you can really fully understand whether it's something that you and your family want to enjoy. For now, I'm just going to talk about kind of what opens and a brief overview of what it is. So, at 180-day mark, all dining opens and all recreation opens. So what is considered recreation? There is a ton. First, there are the dinner shows. So there's the Spirit of Aloha dinner show at the Polynesian. It's a luau. It's very popular, but I don't think it really deserves to be that popular. It's a fun show if you're staying at the Polynesian. If you've been to Disney World a bunch of times, maybe check it out to do something new. But it's basically, it's not nearly as well done as the other dinner show, which is my favorite. It's the Doo Revue. I've talked about it a bunch of times. Check out my Fort Wilderness. I'll put a link. I'll put a little button to it here. My Fort Wilderness, where we talk about Doo. It is a awesome dinner show. The food is incredible. Fried chicken, strawberry shortcake, and it's just so much fun. I love that show. I love corny stuff. You know, I love the Jungle Cruise, but it's a lot of fun for the whole family. So if you're looking at one of the dinner shows, I highly recommend that one as opposed to the luau. Then there's style. So you would make your reservations by calling WDW Style. 407. Then there's all of the style appointments. So one of the most popular things at Walt Disney World is Bibbity Bobbity Boutique. Bibbity Bobbity Boutique is where children 3 to 12, mostly girls, but they also have a night package, can get to be made over like their favorite princess. So this books up fast. If you wanna, there's 2 locations. One is in the castle, one is at Disney Springs. And if you would like to get the castle, you have to book that 180 days in advance. They rarely open up. The Disney Springs location is beautiful. I love to do the Disney Springs location on the first night and then the next morning do the princess breakfast at Excursions, because believe me, those hairstyles are not moving for days. So most people want to get their early morning bibbity boppity and then their princess reservation later that morning. That is nearly impossible to do, but there are alternatives. So if you can't make it at 180 days in advance, there's usually a spot at the Disney Springs, which is just as lovely. I actually like it better. You get a little bit more attention, a little bit more space. You can fit more people. You can watch your little princess get dolled up. So I prefer that location. It's not in the castle. So there's also the Pirates League. The Pirates League in Adventureland. You can get dolled up like a pirate or a mermaid. There is the Harmony Barber Shop where you can just get a haircut. Really popular here is the first haircut package. There's the Ivy Trellis Salon at Grand Floridian. So if you have any princesses who are over 12 who want to get a princess makeover, you can send them over to the Ivy Trellis. The Bibbity Bobbity Boutique has kind of set hairstyles that you have to do. Ivy Trellis is a little bit more flexible. So if you want to look exactly like the hairstyles of one of the princesses, they can do that for you. Then there's also spa appointments. So Grand Floridian has a spa, the Yacht Beach Club has a spa, Coronado Springs, any of the spa resorts, you can make your spa appointments 180 days in advance. You can also make the Princess Tea Party. We talked about Bibbity Bobbity, we might as well talk about the Princess Tea Party. That's at the Grand Floridian, and it is for children, again, young girls 3 to 12, and they have tea with the princesses, which is really adorable. I haven't had a chance to experience it because it started after I turned 12, but as soon as I have a little girl to take, whether my own or someone else's, I might steal someone's child to go to this Princess Tea Party. That gets booked up 180 days in advance. Make sure you book that one early. The other recreation that gets booked up are the cruises. Not the Disney cruises. These are Walt Disney World cruises, fireworks cruises, so you can do your private pontoon rental for your fireworks. That books 180 days in advance. Pirates and Pals is a little bit bigger of a boat. So the private boats fit about 8 to 12. The Pirate and Pals, it's a little bit more. I think it's about 30. I could be wrong. I'm making that number up. But there's a lot of people, and you get like a dessert party, and then you go out on your fireworks cruise. Great viewing of the fireworks. There's pirates there. It's a lot of fun. That books 180 days in advance. There's also the Fairy Tale Wishes dessert party, which takes place on the ferry that will bring you back and forth from the transportation and ticket center. They have a dessert party on there, and that books 180 days in advance. I'm going to make a little kind of asterisk note here. So technically, all of the dessert parties book 180 days in advance. You'll typically see the Happily Ever After one up there. You can book that one. You don't have to call. That one you can book right online. Everything else we've been talking about, you do have to call. Or have your travel agent call. That's what we're here for. The dinner shows and the dessert parties are all booked online like you would book a dining reservation. So those dessert parties technically open 180 days in advance. We usually don't see them do that. The availability the nights won't be announced until later. So we usually don't see those come out. I think the Star Wars one books 60 days. It's crazy. They like release that quickly, and it doesn't usually fill up super fast, so that's okay as long as you keep checking. Sorry, we're gonna go back. That was my little asterisk. We're going back. The Backstage tours book 180 days in advance. I would love to go through a list of all the Backstage tours they have to offer, but then this video would be like 2 hours long. So I'm going to do a separate video on the Backstage tours. I've been trying to slowly check them off. And I'm starting with the Animal Kingdom ones. So look out for some reviews of those. They're amazing. If you've been to Disney World a bunch of times, I highly recommend these Backstage tours. You just get so into it. You get all these kind of extra glimpses into things, which is so fun. The Childcare Centers, you can make a reservation 180 days in advance. Sometimes you can get walk-ups here, so you don't even need to make a reservation. But if you're planning a nice romantic night out and you want someone to take care of the kids, those book 180 days in advance. You can make that reservation then. All of the activities, all the recreation activities that we talked about at Fort Wilderness, archery, carriage rides, horseback riding, the carriage rides at Port Orleans, those book 180 days in advance. If you are going to the water park or you're staying in a monorail resort and you want an umbrella or a cabana, book those 180 days in advance. If you want to do the surfing lessons at Typhoon Lagoon, call 180 days in advance. The other two things that you can do 180 days in advance are buy Cirque du Soleil tickets. So we know La Nuba is closing at the end of this year. We don't have any idea of what's replacing it quite yet. We'll hopefully find that out soon. But right now, you can get your La Nuba tickets till the end of the year, and then when the new show comes, you can buy those tickets 180 days in advance. I talked about the dessert parties already. Not always there 180 days in advance, but ideally you can do that at that point. A lot of things. Give me a call, email me, check me out on Facebook. I'm more than happy to talk about any of these items to see if it's something that your family wants to book. And if I'm your travel agent, I'm also happy to make all these reservations for you, so it's one less thing you have to worry about. If it's something that I think that you'll enjoy, I'll kind of let you know, hey, this is something that might be great for your family. Let's see if we can get a reservation for it, and let you know in advance so you don't have to worry about all of these dates and things. One other thing I want to point out before we move on to Fast Passes next week. Fast Passes open 60 days before your trip. There's a 90-day mark in there. That 90-day mark is when you can start making tee times at any of Walt Disney World's 4 golf locations. So they have 4 18-hole award-winning golf courses. So if you have a golfer in your family, spend a day at the spa. Take your daughter for a mother spa day. Send dad and your sons over to the golf course. Get some nice mommy daughter, daddy son time, and spend a day out of the parks. A nice relaxing day. That's all the things you can book at 180 days in advance. We're going to start talking about Fast Passes, attractions, and my Disney experience next week. So I hope you guys will join me. Subscribe to my channel so you're the first one to know. And again, my email is Christina@aywvacations. And if you want to follow me on social media, I'm at aywchristina. Thank you all for joining me, and I hope all of your vacations are exactly as you wish.